Elon Musk cries seeing photo of black homeless person who changed the millionaire's life. It exploded online. Elon Musk, the untouchable tech king, caught off guard, tears streaming as he stared at a faded photograph. Not of some breakthrough machine or rocket, but a gritty black and white snapshot. A man, Marcus, a black homeless figure hunched on a cracked New York sidewalk. Rough coat, tired eyes that burned with something deeper. Jack Mason, the same Silicon Valley billionaire hailed as a titan, the man who never lost, never stumbled, was shaken to his core when he found that photo tucked inside an old book. His fingers trembled holding that worn image. For years, the man everyone admired carried a secret, a shadow he couldn't shake, and suddenly it was right there in front of him. Who was Marcus? Why did his words, spoken in that relentless city, a few harsh blocks from glimmering skyscrapers, still echo in Jack's mind like a ghost? Success ain't about the money you stack. It's about what keeps you human when everything else falls apart. The memory slammed into Jack's chest like a fist. Jack's world, polished and perfect, cracked like glass under pressure. The streets of New York, the noise, the chaos, the cold indifference were never supposed to touch him like this. Yet the city swallowed him whole that day. The hum of traffic blurred into silence as his gaze fixed on that photo. The buzz about Jack's sudden obsession reached his circle fast. Friends, impressed by his ventures and yachts, now whispered, "Why chase a ghost from the streets? What's he really after?" His boardroom became a storm of judgment. Was this just another wild chase for publicity? Or was something deeper tearing at his armor? Meanwhile, Marcus fought his own battles. Outside the glitzy world Jack dominated. Shadows of his past clawed at him. Memories of hurt and loss. The sting of cold nights, the sharp sting of judgment from passers-by whose eyes refused to meet his. Jack's heart raced as he stepped onto those streets where Marcus used to roam. The smells of hot dogs mixing with garbage, the screech of subway trains, the crowd's murmurs, all were a brutal reminder that money couldn't buy him back what he'd lost. What if finding Marcus brought up more than just old words? What if it unleashed secrets woven into both their lives? Secrets no one saw coming, ones that tied their fates tighter than anyone imagined. But Jack hesitates. Does he want the truth, or just an excuse to feel good about himself? Is the redemption he craves even possible? Or is the price higher than he's ready to pay? In judgments, in shame, in broken trust. The streets keep their silence. The city watches, whispers, waits. Jack's trembling hand slips the photo into his pocket. His breath catches. Somewhere just ahead, Marcus is out there, and the question hangs in the air, thick as the fog rolling in from the river. What will happen when they finally meet again? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without notice. Take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content that's coming. And since you're here, drop a powerful like that really helps me with the algorithm. Oh, and let me know in the comments, what city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact. Jack's heart raced, the photo burning a hole in his pocket like a live ember. Every step he took felt heavy, like the weight of the world rested on his shoulders. The streets stretched ahead, promising answers, but also threats he couldn't predict. Somewhere out there, in the heart of this teeming city, was Marcus, the man whose words thrummed through him, haunting and beautiful. As he turned a corner, a shrill scream cut through the din, a woman's, raw with panic. Jack's eyes darted toward the source, drawn like a moth to flame. A crowd was gathering by a derelict building, voices rising in alarm. He should keep walking. He shouldn't get involved. That's what his world taught him, right? But something pushed him forward, curiosity mixed with dread. His breath hitched as he broke through the throng. A young woman knelt on the pavement, cradling a figure in her arms. The man lay sprawled, motionless. Jack squinted, his heart plummeting. It was Marcus. The crowd surged, whispers like ripples across a pond. Is he dead? Call 911. What happened? Panic washed over Jack, a tidal wave of emotions crashing against his composure. He edged closer, fighting to breathe through the clenching in his chest. The woman looked up, panic etched on her face. Someone help! He's not breathing! Jack burst forward, instincts kicking in. He knelt beside her, hands trembling. What happened? I don't know. She looked desperate, tears slipping down her cheeks. He just collapsed. Marcus lay there. The very essence he once embodied, now dimmed. Jack placed his hand gently on Marcus's chest, fingers brushing against the rough fabric of his coat. Suddenly, a siren wailed in the distance, growing louder. Jack's heart thundered in sync with the approaching chaos. In that moment, as he looked into Marcus's pale face, something flickered in his chest. A recognition deeper than life itself. As the paramedics arrived, Jack's hands ached to shake off the horror wrapping around him. They moved swiftly, lifting Marcus onto a stretcher. Clear the way, one shouted, urgency thick in the air. But then the unexpected happened. As they rolled Marcus back, a glint of metal caught Jack's eye. He bent low, heart racing. The glimmer revealed itself to be a small, worn-out wallet. He picked it up, hands shaking. The leather felt rough, almost alive with stories. Opening it, Jack found ID cards, some crumpled bills, and a small folded note. The words on the note sliced through him like ice. I'll never forgive you for what you did. His breath caught. He glanced around, suddenly aware of the crowd's hushed murmurs, their eyes darting between him and the lifeless form being loaded into the ambulance. The weight of the moment pressed heavily on him. Who did this? He thought frantically. Did Marcus know the person who had left him broken on the street? Sir, a paramedic's voice broke through his fog. We need you to step back. Jack stumbled backward, the wallet clutched tightly in his hand. The enormity of the moment crashed over him, each memory of that photo now layered with new, dark questions. This wasn't just about finding Marcus anymore. It was about uncovering twisted truths that intertwined their lives in ways he couldn't comprehend. As the ambulance doors slammed shut, sealing Marcus's fate and Jack's impending journey into the unknown, the crowd murmured with a mix of shock and gossip that permeated the air. Jack stood frozen, mind racing. What truth lay in that note? Who had left it behind? And most importantly, what did Marcus know that could crumble their worlds if it ever saw the light? He was no longer searching for redemption. He was standing on the edge of a deeper abyss, one that could pull him under before he even understood how deep it went. And the question hung in the air, thick and suffocating. What would he do next? Jack's heart pounded as he stepped. The photo pressed against his chest like a weight. He could feel Marcus out there, just beyond the facade of neon lights and glimmering skyscrapers. There was a pull, an urgency, a need to find that voice from the past. But before he could act, a commotion erupted nearby, fracturing the air with shouts. "Get back!" a policeman yelled, the urgency slicing through the murmur of the crowd. Jack turned, eyes wide. People scrambled, faces twisted in alarm. He pushed forward, the fear wrapping around him like a vice. The scent of sweat and anxiety hung thick. The city was alive, but it felt different now, electric and dangerous. And then he saw it. A figure crumpled on the ground. The crowd rushed back, instinctively frightened, leaving a wide berth around the chaos. Jack drew closer, his breath catching. There, lying on the pavement, was Marcus. Panic swept over him. Was he okay? Did he even see Jack here? But as Jack knelt down, the scene twisted into something else. Marcus wasn't alone. A woman near his side cradled a small child, a boy not much older than 5. The child's eyes were empty pools, a void that spoke of a life untouched by joy. But it got worse. "Marcus!" a voice cried out from the crowd, sharp and panicked. It was a deep voice, familiar. Jack froze. No, it couldn't be. A man pushed through. A figure from Jack's past he thought he'd left behind. The one who had shown up on his doorstep in the darkest hours. His brother, Adam. Anger and shame rippled through Jack, tearing at his previously intact world. Adam hadn't changed. Still rough. Still hungry for something. Someone. "Marcus, please, don't do this!" Adam shouted, arcing towards the two on the ground. The crowd fell silent. The weight of witnessing something raw and unfiltered hung in the air. Then it hit him, hard and cold. Jack blinked, confusion reeling through him. They knew each other. These were shadows from his past, colliding in his present. How had he not seen this? His brother and the man whose words haunted him were tied in a web Jack had unwittingly woven. "Get away!" Marcus gasped suddenly, pushing the child behind him, as if shielding him from more than just the world. The tension flatlined, eyes darting between Marcus, the child, and Adam. "I didn't want you to find me like this!" Adam cried, his voice cracking. "But I had to come. I had to help him. He's been there for me in ways you never knew." Every word condensed the air. Jack's world crashed down with each confession. Everything he thought he knew about success and failure, about connection and family, ripped apart. This was no longer a search for meaning. This was a reckoning, a buried truth clawing its way to the surface. The crowd held its breath. Jack's heart laced. "What did you mean, help him?" Jack found his voice, but it was thin, laced with disbelief. Adam looked up, eyes fierce. Marcus is not just a homeless man. He could be saving everything in our family that you chose to forget. Jack's stomach dropped, a black hole where hope once bloomed. He felt sick, drowning in a tide of shame and realization. The photo was a portal to this moment, a moment that stirred questions Jack never wanted to face. And just when he thought the ground beneath him couldn't shift anymore, behind him, sirens wailed, slicing through the electric air. Flashing lights spun, illuminating the scene as the reality of their tangled lives wrapped tighter. As fear thundered through Jack's veins, the question loomed like a specter. What other truths were hidden in their histories? And would they be prepared to face them head on? ... Jack felt the weight of the moment, the air charged with questions, both past and present, looming large. But then, just as the sirens pierced through the tension, a deafening crash echoed from behind him. Jack spun around, shock racing through him as he saw chaos explode among the crowd. A large van skidded to a halt, tires screeching, sending bystanders scrambling for safety. The back doors swung open, clattering against the pavement. Black-suited figures jumped out, urgency in their movements, faces masked by shadows and sunglasses despite the fading daylight. "Get down!" a voice roared, slicing through the whispers, panic igniting like a match to dry kindling. Jack instinctively dropped low, heart racing, but a familiar shout pulled his attention back to the chaos around Marcus. "Marcus!" Adam yelled, desperation strangling his voice, as if he could shield his friend with sheer will alone. The men in black, their demeanor sharp, intentions unclear, moved toward Marcus, urge. "Stay back," Jack shouted, rising instinctively, adrenaline propelling him forward. The crowd gasped, a collective inhale of fear, as the agents approached, eyes laser-focused. "Stay where you are," another officer barked, raising a hand to signal the crowd to scatter. Suddenly, one of the men stepped forward, his voice low but steady. "We're here for Marcus. He's coming with us." A shudder ran through Jack. Who were these men? What did they want? And how did they know Marcus? The words threatened to peel away the layers he thought he understood. "Don't!" Adam cried. But it felt futile, like throwing stones at the ocean. "You can't take him!" Jack's heart pounded. He felt the hollow ache of the photo in his pocket, contrasting sharply with the reality unfolding before him. Marcus's life was teetering on the edge of abyss, but everything was suddenly more complicated than he grasped. "This is a mistake," Jack urged, stepping closer as panic shifted into fury. "You don't know him. He needs help, not..." "Enough!" The lead agent snapped, his eyes locking onto Jack's, icy with authority. "This isn't a negotiation." All at once, Marcus stirred, his voice a fragile whisper through the chaos. "No, please." That simple plea shattered Jack's resolve. It was more than a desperate request. It was a solidarity, a shared understanding neither of them had realized was possible. They were both tangled in a world that seemed intent on breaking them. Adam was in motion now, pushing past Jack. "I won't let them take you, Marcus. Fight! Fight!" But everything stalled. A sudden shift in the air sent a ripple of confusion through the crowd. One of the agents turned, his hand reaching into his pocket. A flash glinted in the waning light. Time stood still. Then a gunshot rang out, sharp and jagged, slicing through the chaos. Shockwaves coursed through everyone. Jack's heart stopped. After a heartbeat, he registered the scene exploding in slow motion. The crowd screamed, panic enveloping them like a raging storm. Marcus collapsed to the ground, a whispered "No" escaping his lips, eyes wide and unseeing. Jack's breath caught as he knelt beside him, hands trembling. Blood pooled on the cracked pavement, a vivid red against the grays and browns that had long dominated the street. "Marcus, no! Please!" The crowd melted into chaos. Fragmented cries of fear spilling into the night. Jack's world crumbled in an instant. Answers, redemption, even the ghosts of his past, all fading beneath the weight of this shocking reality. He turned to Adam, panic sparking a raw urgency. "What have we done? Who are they?" Shadows danced in the retreating daylight, dark figures engulfing the truth as uncertainty spiraled. All the threads they thought entwined now pulled apart, revealing a shocking truth Jack hadn't even considered. There were secrets buried deeper than he had imagined, and now they were clawing their way to the surface in the blood-soaked pavement, redefining everything. What lay beyond this moment? Jack's trembling hand slipped the photo into his pocket. His breath caught. Somewhere just ahead, Marcus was out there. The question lingered, thick as the fog rolling in from the river. He turned the corner, heart pounding, alive with a mix of hope and anxiety. The streets felt foreign and familiar all at once, like stepping back into a dream. He scanned the crowds, searching for the face that burned into his memory. As he moved deeper into the city, the world around him faded, leaving only thoughts of Marcus, that haunting reminder of what it me. But then, chaos erupted. A frantic scream sliced through the air, shattering the moment like glass. Jack's heart raced as people surged past him, their faces twisted in fear. His instincts kicked in. He dashed toward the sound, adrenaline coursing through his veins. The crowd thickened, pushing him forward until he reached a small plaza. There, in the midst of panic, he saw it. A figure, distant yet unmistakable. A man in tattered clothes, crouched and shaking. Jack's breath hitched. It was Marcus, but something was very wrong. Suddenly, a loud crash sounded, like thunder on a clear day. A nearby storefront shattered. Glass rained down. Jack shielded his face, instinctively looking for cover. People screamed. Some fled. Others fell to the ground, frozen in terror. Then, through the chaos, Jack's gaze locked onto Marcus. His eyes widened in horror. A second figure emerged. A man in a dark hoodie, wild-eyed and desperate, brandishing a weapon. "Get back! Get away from me!" he shouted, voice ragged, desperation clawing at his words. Jack's heart dropped. That could be him, or anyone. This wasn't just about a homeless man anymore. It was a fight, a moment teetering on the edge of violence. Jack glanced around, scanning for help, but everyone was frozen. The world felt like it was closing in. "Marcus!" Jack yelled, his voice cutting through the panic. But Marcus only trembled, glancing at the armed man and back at Jack, eyes wide and pleading. "I'm not going back. Marcus cried, his voice raw. "I won't let them take me!" Jack was frozen, an icy knot tightening in his chest. What did Marcus mean? Who was coming for him? The tension exploded. Jack lunged forward. "You don't have to be afraid. I can help you." But the armed man flinched, shifting his aim toward Jack. "No! Stay back!" he shouted, breathing heavy, panic dripping from his every word. The crowd recoiled, gasping, their collective breaths rising like a tide. Jack's mind raced, all thoughts of redemption slipping away. This wasn't the reunion he envisioned. And then it happened. An unexpected twist of fate. In the confusion, Marcus moved, stepping between Jack and the weapon. "Leave him alone!" His voice carried a strength Jack didn't know he had. "I'm the one you want." Silence fell, thick, heavy silence. Everyone held their breath. Jack's heart pounded in his ears. A whispered murmur spread through the crowd. What is going on? Who is he? Why are they after him? Suddenly, a flash of blue and red lights cut through the gathering darkness. Sirens wailed in the distance. The weapon lowered just slightly, enough for hope to spark. But Jack's world began to unravel. He had thought this was about finding Marcus, about his own redemption. Oh! Now, with every second ticking away, he realized the truth. Marcus was more than just a man from the streets. In that moment, everything Jack knew about himself and Marcus shifted. A dark, hidden connection pulled tight between them, unraveling secrets that would shake everything they believed. As the police arrived, sirens blaring, Jack's mind spiraled. What were they about to uncover? The tangled threads of fate left them hanging in the air. The weight of the unknown drawing ever closer. Jack stood on the corner, the faded photo burning a hole in his pocket. Each beat of his heart echoed louder than the city's cacophony around him. He squinted through the haze, searching for the familiar figure, the man whose voice had danced through his mind like a haunting melody. The air smelled of diesel and dreams, a blend that twisted his gut tighter. He could almost hear Marcus saying those words again, each syllable sharp as the crack in the sidewalk beneath his feet. "Where are you?" Every face in the crowd blurred as his gaze darted from one shadow to the next. A knot formed in his throat as he wondered if he would recognize Marcus after all these years. What if the essence of their meeting was now just a ghost, a memory lost in the shuffle of the city? Suddenly, a scuffle echoed nearby. Jack turned. A man collided with another, angry voices cutting through the noise. "Let go of me!" A sudden shout rang out, piercing the thrumming backdrop. Jack's heart raced. In that split second, he felt something, an urgency that pulled him closer. The small crowd began to gather, murmurs of shock bubbling up like boiling water. Jack pushed through the throng, adrenaline lighting up his veins. What was happening? Whoever was in trouble had become a live wire, charged with fear and rage. Then he saw it. A flash of movement. Marcus's face, pale and frantic, his body pinned against the cold steel of a fence. Jack's breath hitched. "Marcus!" Jack shouted instinctively, cutting through the chaos. But Marcus's eyes widened in horror, and the world slowed. From the corner of his eye, Jack saw a glint, a blade, shining menacingly in the sunlight. The tension hung thick, slicing through Jack's heart with the weight of 1,000 memories. "Get back!" a voice erupted from the crowd. Gasp filled the air, each sound mingling with Jack's racing thoughts. He couldn't just stand there. But before he could move, the flash of steel pierced through the air. Marcus lunged forward, grappling with his assailant. Jack felt himself freeze, the world contracting into a single moment. Then came the blood, bright, vivid, horrifying. It spilled across the pavement like a cruel promise, glistening in the harsh light. Jack's chest tightened. This was not the reunion he had sought. "Marcus!" he yelled again, desperation surging as he forced his way through the throng. A woman near him screamed, her face pale as she clutched her stomach, panic rippling through the crowd like waves on a shore. The blade fell from the assailant's hand. The man staggered back, shock painted across his features. No one moved. Silence swelled, a thick shroud that stifled breath. "Why?" Jack gasped as he reached the scene, kneeling beside Marcus, whose breath came in short, ragged gasps. "Why were you—" But Marcus's eyes were glazed, and the light within dimming. "You don't know," he gasped, each word a struggle. I thought I could control it." Suddenly, Jack's world tipped upside down. "Control what? Marcus, please!" His voice quaked as if the ground beneath them was crumbling away. As Marcus turned, his expression shifted. It was a shadow of fear, but something else flickered beneath. A truth so raw that it sent chills down Jack's spine. "Your life, it's all a lie," Marcus breathed, voice barely above a whisper. Jack's heart dropped, the world around him spinning. Could it be true? The city held its breath, as if waiting for the impact of a truth that could shatter everything. Darkness crept in, smothering the light as Jack struggled to comprehend what was unfolding before him. Every moment stretched, a taut wire ready to snap. And just like that, the connection that had tugged at his heartstrings began to unravel. The crowd recoiled, eyes darting between Jack and Marcus, each face reflecting shock, horror, uncertainty. What did it mean? Secrets exposed, lives intertwined in the rush of the city's chaos. Would Jack dare to uncover the truth? Or would he turn away, drowning in the silence that followed that devastating revelation? Time froze, and the city held its breath, waiting for the next move. Jack's trembling hand slips the photo into his pocket. His breath catches. Somewhere just ahead, Marcus is out there. And the question hangs in the air, thick as the fog rolling in from the river. Suddenly, a commotion breaks through the noise of the city, shouts and angry voices. Jack's heart races. He glances toward the source, the crowd parting like waves. A group of people congregates ahead, faces twisted in shock. Jack feels the urgent pull, a magnetic force drawing him closer. As he nears, he freezes. There, in the dim glow of a fading street lamp, lies a figure crumpled on the ground. Panic fills the air. A woman screams. Jack realizes, with horror, that it's Marcus. His eyes dart over Marcus's body, limp and still. A crowd has gathered, Whispers spiral around him. Is he alive? What happened? Jack's stomach twists in knots, the weight of the world crumbling in on him. He lunges forward, pushing through the throng. Move! Give him space! His voice cracks, fear clawing at his chest. Do! As he kneels beside Marcus, the smell of the street overwhelms him. The panic of the crowd fades, replaced by a suffocating silence. Jack's fingers brush against Marcus's cheek, cool and pale. Marcus, can you hear me? His heart thunders in his ears. A paramedic arrives, urgent and efficient. Yet to Jack, time stretches. He's lost somewhere between the past and present, the weight of their shared history flooding back. Please, please be okay, he whispers, his voice low. Suddenly, the medics lift Marcus onto a stretcher. Jack steps back, a wave of helplessness crashing over him. Marcus's eyes flicker open. For a brief moment, they lock onto Jack's. The chaos around fades. A flicker of recognition, then confusion washes over Marcus's face. Jack? He croaks, struggling against the haze of pain. Yeah, it's me. I'm here. Jack rushes to assure him. But before he can say more, Marcus's gaze shifts. Something in his eyes shifts from clarity to darkness. Jack, the words spill out, painful and slow. You don't know what's coming. A chill seeps into Jack's bones. What are you talking about? But then the scene erupts, a loud crash, echoing through the streets, an explosion of sound, glass shattering, screams rising as chaos reigns. A nearby building erupts in flames, the sky lighting up in an orange blaze. People scatter in every direction. Jack, wide-eyed, glances back at Marcus, but finds him not looking at him anymore. Instead, he's staring at the fire, terror in his eyes. You, Marcus whispers again, voice trembling. It's all connected. The truth. Find it before. Before what? Jack shouts, but the words fall into the chaos. The stretcher jerks away, medics surrounded by panic, urgency driving them forward. Then Marcus disappears from view, pulled into the throng, the flames licking higher. Jack's mind spins. The fire, Marcus's warning. What truth? His breath quickens as he turns, the world around him, breaking apart, mirroring the chaos inside him. Just then, a figure steps out of the shadows, silhouetted against the fiery glow. Cool and composed amidst the frenzy. Jack's stomach drops. It's Leo, his corporate rival, a smirk plastered on his face. Didn't expect you to be so involved, Jack, he taunts, eyes gleaming with something dark. Confusion and anger surge within Jack. What do you want? Leo leans closer, eyes narrowing. You should have left well enough alone, but now you're in the deep end. Good luck swimming back. With that, Leo melts into the crowd, leaving Jack reeling. He looks around frantically, heart pounding even louder. What the hell just happened? What truth was Marcus talking about? The city keeps rumbling, the fire blazing, the air thick with questions. Jack's chest tightens, and the uncertain silence settles in again, heavier than before. Somewhere out there, a storm is brewing, and it all ties back to him. But how? What was the price of digging deeper? And at that moment, Jack realizes he may have just stepped into a darkness far beyond his reach. Jack stood frozen, boiling over with fear and confusion, still reeling from Leo's taunt. The flames danced behind him, illuminating the chaos of the crowd as they scrambled in every direction. But something deeper pulled at Jack, an unsettling feeling in the pit of his stomach. He couldn't shake off Marcus's words. "You don't know what's coming." He scanned the crowd, searching for answers, seeking that connection to Marcus again. Where was he? The stretcher, the medics. The chaotic scene bled into a blur, but Jack couldn't afford to lose hope. Then he heard it, a distant rumbling growing louder, steadily consuming the air. The ground beneath him vibrated, and he stumbled slightly. What was happening? As he turned towards the sound, the sky above split open. An enormous black van careened down the street, tires screeching against the asphalt, chaos cascading in its wake. Jack's heart raced. He ducked instinctively, barely avoiding being hit. What was this? Shouts erupted from the crowd. "Get back!" someone screamed, but it felt like sound swallowed by the frenzy. Jack couldn't move, eyes locked onto that van, fear clawing at him. Suddenly, the side door swung open, revealing figures in tactical gear streaming out. Jack's gut twisted. Who were they? The men moved with precision, scanning the area like hawks. Then everything exploded into confusion. One of the men raised his weapon, the gesture sharp and threatening. "Clear the area! We need access!" he barked. Jack felt panic creep in, cold and constricting. In that chaotic moment, something else caught Jack's eye, a flash of white darting through the crowd. His stomach dropped as he recognized Marcus's figure darting from side to side, eyes wide with fear. But he wasn't running towards safety. He was running straight towards the black van. "Marcus!" "No!" Jack shouted, his voice cutting through the clamor. But Marcus didn't stop. With desperation etched into every move, he lunged toward the open doors. "You can't take me!" His voice was hoarse, raw with terror. Before Jack could react, the world seemed to crack apart. A figure from the van reached out, grabbing Marcus by the arm, pulling him inside with brutal force. Jack's heart dropped as he watched, eyes wide. This couldn't be happening. "Stop!" Jack yelled. But his voice felt swallowed by the chaos. People screamed, running, frantically trying to find safety. Marcus se estrogó y Jack pudo ver el fecho en él. Fear y determinación grandarse con poder fuerza. Pero los agentes estaban tan fuertes, llevándolo hacia adentro. "No, Marcus!" Jack screamed, the sound sallying from his throat, echoing the pain he felt. The door slammed shut. The van's engine roared to life. Jack charged forward, adrenaline flooding his veins, heart hammering against his ribs. "Wait! Come back!" But just then, the unexpected happened. As the van sped away, a bright flash lit up the scene, blinding in its intensity. Jack shielded his eyes, stumbling back as an explosion erupted from the building behind him, flames shooting into the air. The heat washed over him like a wave. The ground shook, rocks and debris raining down on the street. The explosion sent the crowd flying, people gasping and falling over one another as panic engulfed them. Jack was thrown backward, landing hard on the pavement, breath knocked out of him. As he gasped for air, everything shifted. The light of the flames flickered across his stunned face, illuminating a shadow that emerged from the dust and chaos. It was Leo, standing there, smirking in grim satisfaction, as if he had orchestrated it all. "You see, Jack?" he spat, voice dripping with malice. "This is all your fault." In that moment, clarity cut through the haze like a knife. Everything Jack thought he knew twisted and reformed. The darkness wrapped around him, suffocating. What truth had been hiding all this time? What connections ran deeper than he understood? And with a raw scream of anguish erupting from his chest, Jack realized there were forces. Where was he? The stretcher, the medics, the chaotic scene bled into a blur, but Jack couldn't afford to lose hope. Then he heard it, a distant rumbling, growing louder, steadily consuming the air. The ground beneath him vibrated, and he stumbled slightly. What was happening? As he turned towards the sound, the sky above split open. An enormous black van careened down the street, tires screeching against the asphalt, chaos cascading in its wake. Jack's heart raced. He ducked instinctively, barely avoiding being hit. What was this? Shouts erupted from the crowd. "Get back!" someone screamed. But it felt like sound swallowed by the frenzy. Jack couldn't move. Eyes locked onto that van, fear clawing at him. Suddenly, the side door swung open, revealing figures in tactical gear streaming out. Jack's gut twisted. Who were they? The men moved with precision, scanning the area like hawks. Then everything exploded into confusion. One of the men raised his weapon, the gestures sharp and threatening. "Clear the area! We need access!" he barked. Jack felt panic creep in, cold and constricting. In that chaotic moment, something else caught Jack's eye. A flash of white darting through the crowd. His stomach dropped as he recognized Marcus's figure, darting from side to side, eyes wide with fear. But he wasn't running towards safety. He was running straight towards the black van. "Marcus, no!" Jack shouted, his voice cutting through the clamor. But Marcus didn't stop. With desperation etched into every move, he lunged toward the open doors. "You can't take me!" His voice was hoarse, raw with terror. Before Jack could react, the world seemed to crack apart. A figure from the van reached out, grabbing Marcus by the arm, pulling him inside with brutal force. Jack's heart dropped as he watched, eyes wide. This couldn't be happening. "Stop! No!" Jack yelled, but his voice felt swallowed by the chaos. People screamed, running, frantically trying to find safety. Marcus struggled, and Jack could see the fight in him, fear and determination blending into a powerful force. But the agents were too strong, dragging him inside the darkened van, obscured from view. "No, Marcus!" Jack screamed again, the sound tearing from his throat, echoing the pain he felt. The door slammed shut. The van's engine roared to life. Jack charged forward, adrenaline flooding his veins, heart hammering against his ribs. "Wait! Come back!" But just then, the unexpected happened. As the van sped away, a bright flash lit up the scene, blinding in its intensity. Jack shielded his eyes, stumbling back as an explosion erupted from the building behind him. flames shooting into the air. The heat washed over him like a wave. The ground shook, rocks and debris raining down on the street. The explosion sent the crowd flying, people gasping and falling over one another as panic engulfed them. Jack was thrown backward, landing hard on the pavement. Breath knocked out of him. As he gasped for air, everything shifted. The light of the flames flickered across his stunned face, illuminating a shadow that emerged from the dust and chaos. It was Leo, standing there, smirking in grim satisfaction, as if he had orchestrated it all. "You see, Jack?" he spat, voice dripping with malice. "You are fault!" In that moment, clarity cut through the haze like a knife. Everything Jack thought he knew twisted and reformed. The darkness wrapped around him, suffocating. But then, the ground erupted again. This time, it wasn't just the explosion. From the dust and chaos, a figure staggered forth. A woman, disheveled and wild-eyed. Her face twisted with pain. Jack! It was Hannah! His childhood friend! The one who vanished years ago. Confusion exploded within him. Hadn't he mourned her loss? "Hannah?" Jack gasped, eyes wide in shock. "What are you doing here?" Her eyes darted to the van, panic flickering across her face. "I was sent to help," she cried, but a crack in her voice betrayed her. "But they're coming for you too." "They know everything." Jack's heart raced. Who is she talking about? What did she mean? A whirlwind of emotions churned within him. Anger, disbelief, hope. And just like that, an answer hung heavy in the air. Hannah took a shaky step closer. "I'm sorry for what happened. I shouldn't have left you, Jack." Her voice quavered, every word heavier than the last. "But it's not what you think. You need to find the truth before it's too late, before they come for you." "What truth?" Jack asked, desperation leaking into his voice. But before she could answer, the van's engine roared to life again. The doors swung open, and from inside emerged Marcus, somehow free. He was clutching something tight, a metallic box, battered and worn. His eyes widened as he dashed toward Jack, breathless. "They're after this!" Marcus shouted, his voice strained. "It holds everything, all the answers, and a secret that could change everything." The crowd gasped in shock. Jack felt his heart race even faster. A secret? What was happening? What lay hidden in that box? As chaos erupted around them again, the sirens wailing, people screaming, the darkness closing in, Jack reached out, pulling Hannah close and locking eyes with Marcus. The weight of the truth loomed larger than ever, ready to shatter everything they understood. What secret could redefine their lives? What danger awaited? And then, suddenly, the air thickened with tension. Everything felt poised on the edge of an unknown abyss. Jack had no idea how deep it was, but the pull was impossible to resist. The ground trembled under the intensity of the chaos. Jack's heart raced furiously, adrenaline coursing through his veins as he looked between Marcus and Hannah. The air crackled with urgency, a storm of emotions swirling around them. "Marcus, what's in that box?" Jack demanded, desperate for answers as his breaths came in quick jolts. Marcus held it tightly, eyes darting as sirens wailed in the distance. "It's everything they don't want us to know. The truth about my past, your past, it's all connected." Jack's mind reeled. Their lives were tangled in a web of secrets he had yet to understand. He glanced at Hannah. Her face was a mixture of fear and determination, just like Marcus. Suddenly, the van's engine revved, and the doors swung open again. "Move it!" the agents shouted, shoving their way through the chaos. Jack's stomach knotted. They were coming for Marcus, and Jack wouldn't let that happen. "Get back!" he shouted, stepping in front of Marcus. "Listen, Jack!" Hannah cried, grabbing his arm tightly. "This isn't just about us. They want to bury the truth." Thinking fast, Jack turned to the crowd, adrenaline surging. "We need to protect him. He's got something they want." Panic spread through the bystanders, murmurs erupting as they took a step back, uncertainty bubbling in their eyes. Suddenly, someone shouted from the back end of the crowd, "Run! They're coming!" The stampede of feet echoed as people bolted. Jack felt the pulse of panic in the air. He turned back to Marcus, who was shaking, the box clutched to his chest. "You need to trust us, Marcus." Jack instilled hope with urgency. Marcus nodded. But fear lingered in his eyes. I don't know if I can." "Just hold on," Jack urged, glancing over his shoulder at the agents forcing their way through. Time was slipping away. "Hannah, we have to find a way out." They stumbled toward an alleyway, Jack's breath quickening as his instincts kicked in. "This way!" he shouted, moving through the throng. The world around blurred, a whirlwind of shadows and chaos, sirens blaring hot in their ears. As they turned into the darkness of the alley, Jack's heart pounded louder than ever. But suddenly, another loud bang erupted from behind them, a flash lighting the night. The alley lit up, revealing another group of figures blocking their escape. "Hold it right there!" one agent bellowed, a menacing grip on his weapon. Jack froze, fear creeping over him like ice. "Marcus, don't!" But Marcus took a step forward. "I won't let you take me back! Not again!" In a shocking moment, he opened the box, a rush of light bursting forth. Data-stacked documents, flashing secrets like lightning in the night. "This is what I am. This is who I've always been." Everything paused. The agents faltered, eyes wide as shock rippled through them in the glow. And in that moment, clarity broke through. They were standing together, united against a darkness that didn't just belong to them, but to a world much bigger. "It's time to face the truth," Jack declared, stepping forward beside Marcus. The ground felt steadier, a flicker of hope igniting between them. "Together," Hannah whispered, her determination brightening the air around them. But then, as if on cue, the world tilted again, and silence blanketed the chaos. Everyone held their breath, waiting for what would come next. Would they stand together and face whatever was going to happen? The tension hung heavy in the air. Outside the alley, the howls of sirens faded slightly, but the darkness remained. Jack glanced around at his friends, the weight of everything in that moment pressing down on them. Could they really fight against the system that had tried to tear them apart? With hearts racing, they stood ready to confront whatever lay ahead. But secrets lingered still. What awaited them next? The unknown danced on the horizon, and the question abandoned him. Would their bond withstand the revelations to come? As the shadows encroached, they clung to the light together, defiant in their uncertainty. And just like that, their fates hung in the balance, waiting for the next sea. Now listen up. If you enjoyed this journey and don't want to miss the next thrilling episode, you have to subscribe immediately. Join our community and stay updated on every exclusive story. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Your participation means everything. And I want to hear from you. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this ending. What do you think will happen next? Share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this ending. Don't wait even a second longer to share. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions. Your involvement makes all the difference.